iOS 18.4 is packed with tons of new features. It's the biggest update since its initial release in September of last year, and it'll be available as a free software update next week. Here are 18 of its features. iOS 18.4 brings visual intelligence from the iPhone 16 lineup back to the iPhone 15 Pro. Using the camera, you can have ChatGPT explain things to you. You can do a Google reverse image search to find products on Amazon and other shopping sites. You can identify dog breeds, identify plants. On the iPhone 16 lineup, you can activate visual intelligence by holding the camera control. But on the iPhone 16e and the iPhone 15 Pro, you can assign it to the Action button. There's a new Vision Pro app for iPhone that tells you about exciting new apps and games, lets you know when Apple publishes more 3D immersive videos in the TV app, tells you about some tips and tricks, but most crucially, provides a much easier setup experience for guest mode when other friends want to try on your Vision Pro. It's really handy for both of you with a Vision Pro out there. There are new emoji in iOS 18.4. Face with bags under eyes, shovel, root vegetable, purple goo, and many more. Also, on devices that run Apple Intelligence, the emoji keyboard now has a more clear and obvious Genmoji button over to the right. There's a new filter in the Photos app where you can see all of the pictures and videos that haven't been added to an album. This can help those of you who like to keep your photo libraries perfectly organized. You can now manually reorder the smart categories in the media types and utilities sections to put the ones you use most often right at the top. Apple News Plus has a new food section that carefully curates all the best recipes from prestigious and trusted culinary sources. Its recipes are super easy to read and follow. They're nicely formatted and presented with tons of pictures, and they don't begin with a 2,000-word essay on the history of goulash. iOS 18.4 has ambient music you can play at any time in one of 4 themes: chill, productivity, sleep, and well-being. You can trigger the music from the Action button or by adding separate toggles for each theme to Control Center. You can control playback from Control Center or the Dynamic Island. iOS 18.4 adds dozens of new shortcuts actions across all of Apple's first-party apps, like Maps, Calendar, Reminder, Safari, TV, Weather, and more. Now you can automate tasks like gathering all your upcoming calendar events, reorganizing your Safari tabs, adding alarms, changing the default recording quality and voice memos, and so much more. iOS 18.4 introduces one major new Apple Intelligence feature: priority notifications. If you have a whole stack of notifications and Apple Intelligence determines that 1 or 2 of them are probably much more important than the rest, it'll highlight them at the top of the list, glowing bright pink so that you can't miss it. You can turn this feature on in settings, or customize it on a per-app basis as well. Speaking of Apple Intelligence, it's now going to be available in the European Union, with support for many additional languages and dialects of English. So now the Italians can enjoy creating delightful AI images like these. On an iPhone 16 with the camera control, you can now set it to open a third-party camera app if you'd rather have a shortcut to open Snapchat, Instagram, Halide, or another app. In previous versions of iOS, you could only pause an app download or update by tapping on its icon on the home screen or in the app library. Well, now you can pause a download or update from inside the App Store, or even spotlight search results. iOS 18.4 lets you pick a different default Translate app if you'd rather use Google Translate instead of Apple Translate. And in the European Union, you can pick a different default navigation app if you'd rather use Google Maps instead of Apple Maps. A new menu in the Wallet app makes it easy to find your orders, subscriptions, payments, and settings. Putting these features in yet another part of the system makes them more discoverable. iOS 18.4 brings the Find My network to South Korea for the first time. Image Playground has a new sketch style that was previously only available in the Notes app. iOS 18.2 on the iPhone previously introduced Smart Mail categories that sort your inbox into 4 different folders. Now, those same categories are available on the iPad and the Mac. The Apple Passwords app now shows a countdown circle, letting you visually see how much time you have left before your 2-factor authentication code expires. On one final note, a major feature that isn't coming in iOS 18.4 is the Apple Intelligence-powered version of Siri, which would have been able to take a wider variety of commands and control apps on your behalf. Apple has said the feature is delayed to the coming year, which probably means iOS 19 around this time next year. And on that major disappointment, remember to like and subscribe. I'm Griffin Jones with Cult of Mac.